Okay, this is the 25th in the series of videos on step-by-step techniques for creating a physician workload tracker. This is built in a platform of Microsoft Access, MS Access. The decision has been made that the tracker will be done without any VBA code, which would obviate any problems related to viruses. There's no possibility that viruses could be introduced with this type of technique. There's a number of different areas. This is the FRM main, and across the top is a tab which holds a number of the buttons, which then correspond to techniques for introducing line items into a table called TBL list. The TBL data was downloaded from the cms.gov website for 2014 RVU, CPT, and descriptive information. Also on this tracker is a way to check your statistics. You can check your various E&M codes, which administrators tend to like to do. And this way you can track them yourself. You can find out how many 99244s or 99204s are established patients, and you can see the numbers here for some data that's been introduced. There's a number of search forms on here, Cpt Search, which also acts as a way to post to the database. And for example, let's pick a code. Let's just randomly pick one. That removal of thymus gland. Let's just copy that, close that, put it on the clipboard, and close the navigation pane. Go to our CPT code and paste in that code, and we can see, yeah, there it is, removal of thymus gland, 23.48 RVUs. So if you'll notice at the top over here, the last entry here is 9/13/2014. If we go post a list, yep, there it is. Now 9/20/2014, removal of thymus gland. Today, being the first entry for the day, that's 23, and it would add to the total. Okay, so we know about that as a search engine, as well as a way to have some flexibility in the system and post to the database. And you can remove that. Let's see, if you wanted to, you can delete that record, say yes, and then you can refresh, and you're back to where you began. Okay, now it occurs to me there was one other search box that would be very convenient to have, and so I wanted to show you the techniques for doing that. And that would be where, if you would like to search for a certain date range and the summation of the RVUs within that date range, or even on a particular date. So to do that, we can take advantage of a previous parameter search that we used, the parameter partial query parameter date search, and we can highlight that, right click and copy it, and then paste it, and it'll ask us to rename it with a new name. We can still call it query parameter date, but we'll call it sum RVUs. Okay, and we'll click on that, and we can use that as the backbone for making a report. So we've highlighted the new query parameter date summary RVU, click on report, and because it comes into layout view, it'll ask us to put in a date, but then it'll go right to layout view for this banded report. And we can switch to design view because We don't want to really use all, we don't want to see a banded report. So we can Control A, which will highlight all the fields, and Control X. And then we can start manipulating things the way we want it to look. All right, and I can collapse the various areas down, except for the report header. Report header is a good place to put things. And we'll put a number of buttons, and we'll put a field. And let's just close that. So go to Design View, and we'll click on this, and we'll introduce a new field. We'll bring up the property sheet, and we can delete the label. And in the property sheet, for this unbound text box, we can give it a name. Rather than text 42, we can call it txt sum RVU. All right, and we probably want to start at the top, details, and we've seemed to like background 2 better than anything, so we can actually use the right click and copy that. Footer, header, page footer section, and we can paste over that. Header section, the same thing, paste over that. Report, we need to do a little bit more manipulation. And the caption on the report, I think we want to call this date, let's see, date search, and that could be between date search. We'll leave it at date search for now. We'll make adjustments as necessary. The auto center, we'll say yes on that. We'll say yes on the auto center. Auto resize, we want no. Fit to page is yes. Border size, sizable is good. Scroll bars, no need, neither. Control box, no. Close button, no. And click away, and that'll save it. The other thing we want to do is make it a pop-up window, yes. And now it's going to, if I save it now, it's going to ask us to rename it, and we can call it date search. Date search RVU. Let's just call it RVU date search. RVU sum date search. Okay, and the report footer looks good. Format, background 2, control paste. The header, back color for the header. Well, let's stick with that. And the text box, the for color is the color of the text, and we'll make that a little darker. Let's bring that to the top. And this will take a little more work too, when we can center that, and we'll figure out what looks good as we go along here for a little bit. Okay, now for the text box txp sum RVU, we need to give it a control source, and to do that we need to do sum, and it's going to be, I believe, RVU add. Yes, RVU add, and okay, let's leave it at that just for time. I think we're going to have to do a little bit of modification. Might have to round. If you put a round, it'll give you the precision, comma 2. Okay, there's my telephone. Okay, let's go pause. Okay, anyway, let's click that and see if it works. And we'll save. I think we already did. Go to report view. Let's enter in a date. We know there's some data, 6666. There you go. There's the RVU value on date 66. Okay. The other thing you can do, since it's a pop-up, and hopefully you can resize it and then save it even in this view, and then close it and then reopen it from your navigation pane. RVU date search, RVU sum date search. Let's do it all over again. 6666. There it is. It's in the middle. All right. Well, you know what? I think I'm just going to stop it right there and put on some buttons and add it to the FRM main, and I'll see you in the next video.